What's up, everybody? It's your boy Theo, and in today's video we watching no doubt P. Diddy will face sex trafficking charges after this. This was 2 months ago and he got 1 million views, and apparently, I don't know, it said he got sex tunnels or something in his house, which is weird, bro. But I'm gonna tell you like this: when somebody got a lot of money, when somebody has a lot of money, I'm gonna tell you like this: when somebody has too much money, bro, some people just can't be touched. I don't think nothing is gonna happen to Diddy because he got too much money. I'm gonna just let y'all know that now. It's horrible, but he has too much money. It's that money that is like, you just untouchable, bro. You just untouchable. But we gonna get straight into this video.
Investigation, sex trafficking related charges. If we go to December 2023, there was a woman who accused Combs and former Bad Boy Entertainment president Harvey Pierre and another person of sex trafficking and gang raping her when she was 17 years old. There was a Jane Doe who's...
Whoa, what?
And former Bad Boy Entertainment president Harvey Pierre and another person of sex trafficking and gang raping her when she was 17 years old.
What the fuck is
There was a
wrong?
Jane Doe who says that she was flown from Michigan to New York City, supplied with drugs and alcohol, and then assaulted by all three men at Combs' recording.
Here's my thing, like, why do you wait? I don't understand why people wait until, oh, everything comes out. Now it just feel like some people just be wanting clout. Because it's like, you could have been said this. You could have said it when it happened. But now you waited 10 years, 15 years later. Now you finally saying something. Like, I'm not bashing it, but it's like, it's just like weird. Like, come on now. Like, you gotta be better.
Studios. Now, Combs, by the way, has always denied the allegations. And in fact, in response to one lawsuit, had posted, I believe it was on Instagram, "Enough is enough. The last couple of weeks, I've sat silently and watched people try to assassinate my character, destroy my reputation and my legacy. Sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do..." And he goes on to say, "did not do this." Now, again, that was in relation to a lot of these lawsuits being filed. But when we're talking about sex trafficking, Tracy, and we're talking about the Southern District of New York possibly initiating this search warrant, where does your mind go in terms of what we might be looking at in terms of hot potential charges, potential allegations, and how it's connected to New York?
So I absolutely believe, and again, simply my hypothesis, he is innocent until proven guilty, that he will be arrested and indicted on sex trafficking charges. I have no doubt about that. And I do believe that he was most likely the kingpin of this. These girls, what that tells me, if it's out of the Southern District of New York, is this is spanning multiple states, and that he is trafficking or allegedly trafficking girls across multiple states, across the United States. This isn't just an isolated incident in one location. And so I have heard things as well about his Hamptons parties and things happening in those Hamptons parties as well. So I suspect more evidence may come out as a result of that. But these are extremely serious charges. And
yeah, they really serious charges. You trafficking girls underage at that, to different states, and these girls don't even know where they're at. Like, they don't know where they're at. Like, some of these bro, it's been like, I remember when I was young, a kid, bro. I remember when I was a kid and they used to say, "Oh, this girl's missing. We haven't seen her for 2 years." Like, what? Like, your daughter leaves, goes to school, and never comes home? Like, that just... Like, what? And then the parents can't do nothing about it because, you know, the police, they say, "Oh, yeah, we can try, but we're not really gonna... We're gonna investigate it, but we're really not gonna go into investigating it." Like, that shit is crazy.
Part of me, too, is frustrated by somewhat the complacency, right, of the entertainment industry as a whole. in this. And I think sometimes people fly under the radar for a long time, like Epstein did as well, because people are scared. People want to still climb the ranks. And we're doing it all the while sort of sacrificing the safety of these young victims or girls that are involved in this. And that is deeply troubling.
Before we get into more of this, I hear you, and I think, it's really, really frightening to think about. I mean, I read all these allegations and the lawsuits, and I've never heard anything like it. And obviously we don't know exactly where this investigation is going. But if Combs is charged with federal crimes here, but he's not in the country, and he's actually in a country or a jurisdiction where there's no extradition agreement, how do you get him back? What do federal authorities do?
That's a really good question. And I looked up just because I was curious actually about Antigua. I don't know all of them off the top of my head. Some I do, some I don't. But we do have an extradition treaty with them. Right now, though, because of the public nature of this, I have a very hard time believing that a country would allow his plane to land with him on it in their country. They don't have to let him land if they don't want to. And so I think that it would be very difficult for him to be able to land in an inhospitable country simply because they don't want him. We do have extradition treaties with more countries than I think people.
See, that's why, bro. You need some connections in like Switzerland, some places that people don't expect you to go. Like, not saying like, see, if it's me, not saying I'm doing any of this stuff. Like, say that I had an accountant who did fraud and I left. I just left the country, bro. I'm going somewhere where people at least expect me to be at, bro. They at least expect me to be at. Switzerland. People don't expect you. Russia. People don't expect you to be there. India. Come on now. Fiji. A lot of people go to Costa Rica. Everybody go on to Cuba, so it don't make sense to go over there. But like Switzerland or something like that, people not gonna expect you to go to Switzerland. It's like people not gonna expect you to go to Switzerland, so it's crazy.
People would think, and typically they will send folks back to us as long as we take the death penalty off of the table. And I don't believe that this is a death penalty case. It's Southern District of New York. And so
it's not a death penalty case. He's trafficking little girls. What are you talking about? It's a death, bro. It's definitely, bro. If somebody does something to kids, bro. If somebody does something to kids, whether you're raping a kid or you're trafficking a kid somewhere, bro, that has to be the death penalty, bro. Like, I don't understand. I really don't understand the system. That's why I stay in the house. I don't leave because I don't want to get caught in none of this shit.
I believe that whether we have an extradition treaty or not with whatever country he may or may not go to, they will send him back.
And talk to me about what you think they have in terms of a case, because, right, you say they want to preserve the evidence for a potential prosecution against either him or someone else. There's a criminal case building. But they had to have probable cause for the search warrant to be issued. And I wonder, I mentioned some of the interviews. They wouldn't have had enough to try to arrest him first and then do the raid, or they need the raid first to see what's at the property before they can build a case and build charges and then arrest him. Talk to me about the timeline of how this typically works in terms of if we're seeing a raid on several properties.
And then people don't even know this. Like, at this point, like, you can't even take money from him, really, because all of his assets is in his mom's name and in his son's name, bro. So that's the crazy part, because now you gotta sue the whole family if you want to get something out of him. Now he don't even own nothing. His company own it. They can take some shit from the company. Man, that don't mean shit. He still got millions, probably billions of dollars, bro. He still got so much money, bro, and he just put everything in his son name, his mom name. Oh yeah, I don't own that shit. I just live here, bro. I just live here. I don't own that shit. My son own it. So you can't take it from me. You can't take it from me. You gotta take it from my son, and you gotta go through a whole loophole to get through my son. Like, this is crazy.
in conjunction with an arrest? Does that come before an arrest? Does that, how does it typically work?
Typically, Jesse, it's in conjunction with an arrest. But I started thinking about this a little bit more last night, and I was thinking that if he has videos or his associates have videos and they are attempting to distribute those of young male children or female children, that means that a child is in imminent danger. And so part of me wonders if this was done to stop that, and that they will get to the arrest obviously at some point, because as you mentioned, typically these warrants are served and there's usually an indictment that goes hand in hand with that at the same time. So in my opinion, it's not unheard of, it's just a little bit unusual. We don't typically see this. Anytime we did raids at the FBI of this nature, we also had an arrest warrant for the individual as well. And so it is unusual, but I don't want to say it's unheard of. And again, I'm just speculating, but part of me wonders if this was still actively being distributed. And if it is, they need to shut that down immediately.
Were you surprised at the response that we saw from Douglas Wigdorf? This is a lawyer for Cassie Ventura and one of the Jane Does in response to reports of this search warrant that was issued on Sean Combs. Now, remember, Cassie Ventura settled with Sean Combs, but the statement says, quote, "We will always support law enforcement when it seeks to prosecute those that have violated the law. Hopefully, this is the beginning of a process that will hold Mr. Combs responsible for his depraved conduct." Now, again,
Cassie ain't write that shit, bro. That's something somebody told her to say. But Cassie ain't write that shit, bro. First of all, we heard Cassie talk before. She doesn't talk like that. How a motherfucker's gonna talk. Bro, people got script writers, bro. She didn't write that shit, bro. Somebody else wrote it, and then she had to say, "Oh yeah, this is what I think." That's probably what she thought, but they just put it in better words. You feel me?
In light of that settlement doesn't necessarily mean you're saying Combs is completely innocent. It's you've agreed to resolve the issue. Doesn't absolve him of wrongdoing, but to make that statement, I think that's something to be said. Now, again, of course, he's representing someone else that's continually suing Sean Combs. But again, that statement I thought was really interesting. What was your take on it?
Yeah, I thought that statement was interesting. My question about it, though, is did he tip them off? Did he provide them with information? Did Cassie Ventura or any of these individuals involved in these civil suits also provide evidence along with that to build this criminal case? Because obviously those two things are separate. So in my opinion, in listening to that statement, it actually sounds like maybe they did. And that's incredible that they did that, because I believe that Cassie Ventura was absolutely a victim of pretty horrific things. And if she was able to document all of that and provide evidence, then that absolutely would go to building his criminal case.
It's so crazy to think about this. I mean, again, and I'm not surprised by that connection to New York, because I go back to Little Rod Jones, and he said he was assaulted at different places, including in New York. So again, what can we expect next to happen as this story develops? And I imagine it's going to develop quite rapidly.
I agree with you. I think it's going to develop quite rapidly as well. I think the next thing that will happen is an indictment of P. Diddy. That's what I think, and that he will be taken into custody hopefully soon at some point. But honestly, I'm not sure. This is, like I said, a little bit unusual, and that there isn't an indictment yet, although I think one may be forthcoming.
What about other individuals? Because remember, going back to one of the lawsuits, there was an allegation there were violations of the TVPA, the Trafficking and Victims Protection Act, big law aimed at fighting against domestic and international human slavery. And they were filing a civil action with respect to it. But you're basically saying these minors are engaging in commercial sex acts. I would imagine that if this is a really big operation, we could potentially see arrests of other individuals connected to the rapper, right?
I agree. I think we will probably see the arrest of one or both of his sons, because I believe that they, based on evidence in cases that we've seen in the past from a civil perspective, they have been allegedly involved in this. But at the same time, too, I think that there may be a lot of people who have associated with him in his circle that are probably scared right now, because they may have had some involvement in this as well. And so in my opinion, I think they will start at the top, obviously arresting Diddy or his sons. And from there, in my opinion, they may try to plea. I don't think he's going to completely avoid jail time or anything like that if he's indicted, but maybe they will try to plead to get names of other individuals that are associated with this. But again, completely my hypothesis, Jesse.
And I'll leave on this. There was reporting, there was an allegation that Combs may have been harassing Mr. Jones because of that lawsuit that he filed. Jones alleges that Combs sent agents to intimidate his 8-year-old daughter and the mother of his child and his ex-wives. So you talk about the imminence of this raid. You talk about the manpower put forward by this raid. If that is true, and again, we don't know if it's connected to the lawsuit in any way, but that's something else to think about, right?
100%. He has a pretty long documented history of threatening individuals and asking them to, I guess, clean up his mess or clean up his dirty work, if you will. And so that is not at all surprising to me. And I do assume that individuals who may have been involved in speaking out or testifying in any of these civil cases may also be awarded some type of security and protection as well.
Look, all right, first of all, I don't think they will get Diddy in custody because they said he's out of the country. I'm not really sure, but you know, I don't really know, so I can't speak on it. But I don't think he's going to jail. He got too much money, and if he's not in the country, you have to go by their laws. You have to go by that country's laws. So, yeah, bro, the women, this is a serious thing because a lot of women say they want rich men, but it's a lot of rich men that do fuck shit like this. So you have to be careful. It's okay to want a rich man, but make sure he's an upstanding rich guy. You feel me? Like don't just get no random rich dude. Don't just get no random rich dude because he rich and famous. Like he could be raping you, he could be beating you, he could be doing all type of stuff to you. And he got so much money that you can't even say anything. If you say anything, you can die. You can disappear somehow. You can disappear and nobody would care. Like it's that crazy that's how much money he got. That's how much money he got. He can make you disappear without anybody knowing, but everybody knew Cassie. So she, oh my God, like I don't know. I don't think he's going to go to jail. I really don't. If they ain't got him yet, I don't think he's gonna go to jail. But I think he really should. He really should, and a lot of people gonna stop fucking with him after this because after that video came out of him beating Cassie, I got it earlier in my channel. After that video came out, I just lost all respect. All respect, you feel me? And then he was like, all these girls just trying to get a payday, and I'm sitting there like, what? Hey, that's crazy. That's crazy. Anyway, my name is Theo. Thank you for watching this video.